Okay, question number 3. What is skill acquisition level and why is it important to understand that?
Oh, well, skill acquisition level, I'll take this one. I love to play with skill acquisition levels with teams. I think it's really important. It's almost using a skill acquisition assessment really helps people put a mirror out in front of them to see their own practice, to see where their skill could be enhanced, could be sharpened. I love self-assessments, skill acquisition assessments, because it shows people where they're confident and maybe where they're not so confident in their practice. Again, helping guide them to where and how they could practice more deliberately and more precisely to increase their skill. So skill acquisition is just, we use the Dreyfus levels from novice, advanced beginner to competent to proficient. And it's just a level as you internalize a skill, as you enhance your abilities and capabilities, you slide up the scale. Now, you move somebody into a new role, a new department, a new kind of process, maybe even a new learner, and you'll see their skill acquisition. It isn't a static. It's constantly flowing up and down. But I love the skill assessment of skill acquisition just as kind of a barometer and an indicator of where someone could enhance their practice.
I've even noticed on some of the shepherding videos that y'all made where I love that it's not a stair step. They're not even steps from one level. So from novice to advanced beginner to proficient, it's not necessarily the same step. Am I saying that the right way?
Yeah, it's not equal distance between advanced beginner to competent and then competent on to proficient. I think one of the things that Beth was talking about as far as measurement, a lot of the advanced group or shepherding groups we work with will say, well, when is it time to expand? Or they want to expand.
Right.
And then the first thing we say is, okay, who's going to coach that? Well, we don't know. We don't have the bench strength or we don't have the coaching depth to be able to do that yet. Well, then maybe you don't need to expand that fast. Maybe you need to assess where you're at and who is ready to move into a coaching position.
That's a great point. You can outrun your headlights by doing that,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So question 4. I've heard us talk about the second coach notebook and its importance. And Mike Rother, the author of Toyota Kata, has some notes in his online materials on the second coach's notebook. So can you go into some detail on the importance of a second coach to keep a notebook?
I think the one we've developed and worked on is probably version 13 or 14 that we've used in here at Baptist. And I think the importance is that the second coach needs to kind of keep a diary or a journal or at least a pattern that their thought process and where they want the coaching and they want the learner to develop as far as skill. And so if they're preparing for a coaching session, if they can look back a couple of days or look to a week or two ago as to what were they concentrating on with the coach and maybe where some deficiencies were, and I'm trying to move this person from advanced beginner coaching to competent coaching. What do I need to be doing differently as a second coach? Well, if you're just kind of going in there just observing and you don't have that reference, you don't have a notebook, you don't have a diary of how the other person's skill is progressing, it's hard to make an adjustment and it's hard to coach effectively for it.
And I think I agree. I absolutely agree with you. And another aspect of that, the second coach's notebook, is there's embedded in that notebook a mini kata, a routine that a second coach can practice. So they have a meta routine, and we heard it today with a couple of the second coaches. It allows them, by practicing that routine, that those 5 questions they know in their head they're going to be asking the primary coach, leading the coach's thought process. By following a routine, they can internalize it, and it allows them not to get drawn into the content of the storyboard and the content of the coaching, but stay focused more on the meta routine of coaching.
That's good. That's real good.